What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Let's Talk Live here on the LTL Media channel. I got someone here hanging out in studio tonight. Jen O'Donnell is in here, Canton resident, and she actually reached out to me, I don't know, about a week ago, and you're like, I need to talk. I need a platform to come on. I want to come in live and do it live. And I'm like, all right, come in. So we're going to give the floor to Jen tonight. She has a copious amount of notes here. And we were reviewing a lot of it at the beginning of the show, but I'm gonna let her take it away. And so tell me what's going on in the town, right? It's a town, not a city, the town of Canton.
The town of Canton is a hot mess right now. And I have not been speaking up enough and coming forward enough with my own experience because I thought that would in some way keep me safer, that they would be less apt to keep messing with me if I just kind of let it go.
Right.
But instead, they're getting bolder and more brazen. And this past week, a woman in our community weaponized the police against me. So that's enough.
That's enough.
Gloves are coming off.
Gloves are off. She's gonna let it all out tonight. She was telling me a lot here before we got started. I just want to recognize this real quick. Goldman's, thank you so much for the one gifted membership. Everybody sit back because I know Jen has a lot to say. So tell me about, we had it's almost been 2 weeks, a week and a half ago. We had the police audit meeting. Obviously, Bob McCarthy continues to keep trying to shut this thing down. Tuesday is a very important day. Rita was talking about that today. And I guess there's going to be, the deadline is 2:00 on Tuesday for the police audit or for people to submit their bids. But are you hearing anything?
So, okay. 2:00 to submit their bids. That's reassuring because I thought someone had said the meeting had been moved to 2:00 in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case,
could be that, and I might be wrong on that. Okay. So check me on that.
So if someone can type in the answer for that, because if it's 2:00 in the afternoon, then that is disgusting.
So Annie's saying, "Good evening, everyone." I'm sorry, I just saw another police audit meeting on Tuesday, so I think it might be another meeting, which is interesting.
So yeah, we have to see if it's 2:00 or at 7:00. Yeah. If it's at 7:00, I will be attending it. If it is at 2:00, I have to work. So unfortunately, I won't be able to be there.
So tell us about all this harassment that you've been getting. I know you have a laundry list here. You're like, I have my notes and I'm ready. So please let the world know what it's like living in Canton and sticking up for, justice and wanting to know what's going on in your town and wanting to know what's going on with the police department. You obviously have a bunch of people that, what we would call like townies that don't want any transparency in the town. Like what? I don't get it. Like what is going on? Why? I was saying to you earlier, like, why wouldn't people just want what's out in the open? Why wouldn't they want to know what happened to John O'Keefe and get to the root, to the root of it and figure out what's going on? So,
right. So what I have learned along the way doing, public speaking is I need to be careful with what I speculate and how I word it. So I don't know what is truly going on. I have my own theories. I have my own speculations. I think everyone is cashing in chips with each other. I think they all got dirt on each other. And typically that goes back to certain things in life. People can come to their own assumptions. But that's where I think things are coming from. And there's a lot of rumors of it. There's a lot of things that are starting to add up. So I think they're all covering for each other and they have no choice but to act a fool for one another.
Yeah. And we see a lot of the harassment at the meetings too. When you get up and stand, we see a lot of women get shut down in the meetings. We see, and I think it's like a lot of it is that, maybe that type of thing like, oh, well, she's a woman, so she's not going to be strong. Let's have her sit down. But obviously we've seen the select board meetings and my nickname for you is the Bull because you don't take any shit.
Thank you.
And you get up there and you just smash people all the time. And you have like a well-written statement when you get up and you speak your points, but they love to try to shut you down all the time. Especially Bob McCarthy.
Oh, Bob McCarthy is a disgusting individual. Yeah, everything that comes for him, he fully deserves it. He is He makes my blood boil. And it's not even just the way he treats me. I can actually handle the way he treats me because I tune him out. Like, I have absolutely no respect for him whatsoever. I can't handle the way that he treats David and Kathleen. Like, it makes my blood boil.
Yeah, he's just not listening. He doesn't want to listen.
Utter disrespect. And I'm sorry, but you were put on this board to serve a purpose, to conduct yourself in a professional manner for a lot of money for a very serious matter that the entire town came together and voted that this is what we agree we need to be doing. And the select board, for the most part, while it was a sham kicking and screaming, ended up agreeing with us that we're moving forward with it. So what he did the other night was an utter disgrace. And I mean, I can't believe that an announcement hasn't been given that he has been removed from the board, because
he's like, oh, I saw they had a
news.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm not going anywhere. He's like, oh, no, I'm not going anywhere.
They always double down. What is
I'm not going anywhere.
Why do they?
Yeah, he's the protection. That's what it is. I mean, behind the scenes, that's who they're using to protect all of this.
Yeah.
You know, the McAlberts, they're the ones that are protecting us. By the way, Joseph, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. So tell me about all the harassment. You said like the last year, this has been building up since you've been going to the meetings.
It has been. So it originally started, and I won't go into detail because it involves the school district and such, but it originally started at the school district, and
3-2.
It started to play out at the special town meeting when David Honig held up a gun gesture towards me while I was standing at the microphone within feet of the chief of police, her attorney, an entire wall of police in a room packed full of fellow citizens. And he had no fear of any consequences whatsoever.
Sure.
And that in and of itself showed something. But I then announced to the crowd, like, do you not see what's happening? To which the moderator doubled down, was like, you're out of order. I'm like, I don't understand what's happening right now. Twilight Zone. But that's like, so that happened. The chief of police is the only one who's reviewed that video. She hasn't even let me review it.
How long ago was this?
This was in November of last year.
God. So almost a year has gone by.
Yeah, a year has gone by.
No official statement.
So I have to basically, I have to attorney up in order to get a copy of the video.
Unreal.
So her words to me when she reviewed the video was, it looked as if it was a joke amongst friends. So I have a founded Title IX, which is sexual harassment based against this family, and a granted restraining order against this family. And I'm in a room full of cops, the chief of police, regarding an audit of our police department in a hostile environment. I ended up on the wrong side of the room. That's what happens when someone saves you a seat. And
so you ended up on the
totally wrong side of the room. This was not, I was in the hornet's nest, not on purpose.
It's funny that you said that, because the first Karen Reed hearing I went to, not the trial, hearing that I went to, I got stuck literally sitting behind Jen McCabe. I got stuck behind Jen McCabe.
Did you keep your mouth shut so
I
she
did.
Couldn't suck your soul out?
Yes.
Yeah.
I closed my eyes and my mouth shut. I didn't want my eyes torn out. But yeah, I literally sat behind her in court. But it was just interesting to sit there and just watch, just observe them and just how like strange and weird they are.
Isn't watching people intense? Yeah. Especially in those environments.
And you're sitting there and you're like, yeah, you Googled the search. Like, I'm literally sitting behind the person that Googled the search. And it's wild. It's like surreal. You're like, am I even sitting here right now? I
ran into her at the special town meeting in the bathroom. And seriously, it was like a cheerleader holding court in the high school bathroom. I was like a flashback. I didn't go to Canton High, thankfully. But it was that type of scene, but it was all middle-aged women. And it was Jen McCabe in the middle. And I'm like, I don't have to go anymore. I went back to my seat.
Dana's in the chat. Good to see you. I saw Allison earlier.
Hi,
Allison's in the chat. A lot of great people here. So, yeah. So tell me a little bit more about what you've been experiencing in town. You can talk about the, your lawn was bleached as well. You can tell the audience about that.
So the reason I wanted to start with the special town meeting was the chief of police's words were, it looked to me to be a joke amongst friends, and would dismissed it. So no charges were ever brought on this person when it was clear retaliation for what I had done to his family in his mind. And Chris Albert, a video of him degrading yet another woman on the streets of Canton. Thanks, Chris. Oh, God, you can't. You're like the gift that keeps on giving, actually. You are on the Christmas card list, I think. I'm going to put him on it. Yeah, I think he'll like that. I just need your current address. He loves running out of
this pizza shop with his camera all the time.
All the time.
He loves it.
But then you give it to KP and she doesn't screen it because she's like, oh, obviously they did the work for me.
Yeah.
Send. Yeah. No, thanks, KP. I knew you'd come in handy, girlfriend.
You would think by now he would just like go about his business, but it's like almost like it's just like he's drawn.
He can't help it.
He can't help it.
He can't help it.
He's got to go out.
When I stood up and addressed him, I knew for a fact he would not be able to help himself. And sure enough, he performed on cue. Thank you, Chris. You're very predictable, just so you know. I'm sure that makes him feel good too.
Yeah. He's always.
But anyways, so he was afraid of this woman whom he is screaming profanity and degrading on a public street over a rubber ducky. That, like, let's take that in for just a hot moment. A room full of hostile people, a gun gesture, a history with this individual, right? Set scene. A rubber ducky, the town selectman, profanity, the woman making a gesture like end my life. I would want to end my life too if he was rattling shit off to me. So like I feel her, but like he is that big of a pussy that the state police are filing witness intimidations on this woman. And I can't even view the video of a man I have a history with.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Like, that's a very, I feel like we're kind of upholding the law very differently here.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to come and sit and kind of look at these things, because it's interesting when you let things sit for a year, how quickly history starts repeating itself.
He was the one that harassed you at the gas station too, right? Is this the same person?
No, the gas station was PM3's little bestie, what's her name?
And she's got notes.
Christy
I can see all the
Citrone.
notes here.
Christy Citrone over at the gas station in Sharon on 3/13/24 wanted to let me know for PM3, which anyone who's not familiar with Canton lingo is Paul McAuliffe the third. But when he wanted to be relatable, he dropped the third. We heard that, baby. We saw that. You're cute. So then his friend decided to inform me what a piece of shit I was while my children were in the car. So that shook me up. That really bothered me because my kids were there, but luckily the windows were up and they probably had devices because parenting win that day. Then we had a situation on 3/23. So it would be interesting for me to, I should have pulled whatever statement I made at this time, because clearly there's an uptick all of a sudden in retaliation towards me. So there were 2 pickup trucks that sat outside my house, one during broad daylight while I brought my groceries in. They aimed their truck at like an odd angle in the road towards my yard and just revved their engine at me while I brought my groceries in the house. And then but it was broad daylight. So it's like, there's a neighbor that like their friend and him like work on trucks and stuff. So I'm like, maybe I'm just reading into it. So I honestly, it takes a bit sometimes for me to really get the point. So then that night I went to walk the dog and the dog wouldn't go out. And I'm like trying to pull her. And all of a sudden I looked up and there was a big, huge pickup truck idling and the window had been down and someone was staring right at me. And I was kind of taken back by it.
Right.
And they put their window up and just started revving their engine. So I ran in the house and told Kevin, and he ran out and ran up to the truck and they started to take off and they turned around and revved towards him, curved around him, and then aimed towards me and the dog. and then took off down the street. And if you know my street, like there's not a lot of space for that much activity with that much revving and like really getting some good speed before you have to slam on the brakes because there's a little circle that you have to go around. So, but of course, I didn't get license plates. And
do you have cameras?
Our cameras started working right after that incident. So once my husband saw an incident happen himself, he was like, okay, like we got to figure. Yeah.
Crystal Plon, thank you so much for becoming a new member. I appreciate it. Love the new memberships tonight.
So then where'd we go? Oh, then I addressed Chris. So we were going down memory lane on this one already, where Chrissy and I had a heart-to-heart in March of 24, to which, you know, I informed him that I didn't think it was very kind of him to be using citizens as human shields. And, you know, it was kind of trashy. So he wanted to inform me during open meeting that I was an embarrassment. But I'm okay with that because it's on camera. So if you're going to act a fool, at least make sure it's on camera.
Right.
So, you know, like sometimes if you give them enough rope, they'll hang themselves.
Right.
So that was that incident, which I asked for an apology from the select board, to which I was told Chris has already apologized. And I said, he very specifically said, my last 3 incidences. That says I'm not apologizing for anything else, especially that one over there. I want an apology, and I do believe, I mean, it's all on video. Like there should be an apology, especially he didn't learn his lesson. I mean, I just asked for an apology. They said no, thank you. He already said sorry. And then he went and assaulted another woman on the streets of Canton. Like, he can't help himself. So now it's my turn. I'm included in the next apology, everybody. So then we move on to, in there was the first bombing of my yard.
That's the bleach bombs.
The bleach bombs. Well, they're not bleach bombs.
Yeah, let's explain that to the audience that probably doesn't know a lot about what's going on. If you want to explain that scenario.
So once again, it was a scenario where it kind of needed to happen more than once for me to actually grasp what was happening.
It wasn't bleach, it was like chemicals.
It was a chemical.
It was like a really toxic chemical.
Like a industrial cleaning product. So it's not something that just a regular person going to Home Depot is going to be able to go and pick up. This is a heavy duty product that needs to be ordered. So that was put into water balloons. So there are multiple. So there was a thought process of, let's take this incredibly toxic chemical and put it inside of this water balloon. And then we're going to tie. So another physical action, we're going to tie said water balloon. We're going to double bag it, because if that shit breaks, it's going to ruin our car. So again, thought process, like the realization, this isn't safe. We're going to drive around and we're going to hit 3 different residents' homes. Jennifer O'Donnell, Rita Lombardi, and the Sweeneys. And we're going to ruin their yards. And the Sweeneys have a pet. And they were growing flowers and vegetables that they fed to their neighbors, people. Like, you take the kindest human beings and you go and you think that you're going to beat them, but you'll never beat the Sweeneys. And like Rita, they have pets as well. Like I have a dog. Like this, our pets could have died 100%. With just a small amount of this chemical.
100%.
So the realization of it became more serious once we knew what we were dealing with. So they drove around during the night and threw these balloons onto our yards. And they went home and they went to bed. And they woke up and like high-fived their fucking selves. And they're like, woo! We taught them. Like, this is awesome. We're so cool. But like, they're not. Yeah. You're psychopaths and you're losers.
That's like terroristic.
That is terroristic. And I honestly, I hate when they say it's domestic terrorism. And I'm sorry. Like, I just feel like it's a really strong words. But by definition, it is domestic
Oh,
terrorism.
100%.
I mean, I hate saying it. So I prefer
attack.
like it was a chemical attack, and that is frightening. And on top of that, way into here, like earlier, but not Canton directly related, I've had bleach bottles thrown at me while I was doing standouts on Neponset Street overpass.
Unreal. Yeah. Diane says it's terrorism. Why the FBI is not getting involved with this balloon bombing? It's crazy. So so that happens the first time, and then they come back again. Yeah. And the second time they come around, they leave their bag, right?
But they left the bag over by the Sweeney's house, around the corner from some of the key players in all of this. So, I mean, I know it's a small neighborhood, but it's kind of also telling when things just roll up in certain areas.
So what is now the next process in that? Because I haven't heard anything. Oh, you probably haven't heard.
We haven't heard. They came back with the chemicals. I gave video of the car that I think hit my yard. So it came in through and pulled up and drove very slowly along the very edge and then pulled off once it hit the other end of my yard. So I sent that in, but you couldn't get the license plate. Of course, the cop that lives on the corner from me
didn't see anything. His
camera only picks up the corner of his yard. So, I mean, I find that super suspect, but I can't do anything about that. And like, I did speak to other neighbors, and unfortunately theirs is like a lot of them got so annoyed by the updates, like movement, like your phone is pinging all day, right? Motion. So they set it only for like within a couple of feet. So if someone's approaching the house, so it's not going to pick up cars driving by. So that it sucks.
It's interesting though, huh? All the police officers, first responders that live in Canton, none of their cameras work. So you notice that?
Do you want to know what they said though to my neighbors? So I had to suggest to them. Some call it lecturing. I call it educating. I had to suggest to them that maybe they walk around the neighborhood and see who has cameras, and if they could potentially pull up this date from this time period to this time period and just send it on over. And you can do some comparison, and hopefully you see the car drive around the circle of a neighborhood that I have. Like, it's not like they're going off into the like far off galaxy. Like, I live on a circle. So like you can easily track the movement of this vehicle. And no, they went to them months. This is months after the event happened. Left a business card and a little note that said something. Have you noticed any suspicious activity in your neighborhood? If so, could you send me the video?
It's the police.
Yeah. Just broadly, just in general.
Guess what? No one's sending any videos.
They find me shady every time I walk around with the 3-legged dog because I linger because she's slow. So no, that's not. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you investigating that for me.
So you had the first time, the second time. So there's 2 police reports. Yeah. Do you have the police reports?
I do. I don't have. Well, no, there's only one police report that includes both of them because it was the second incident, and I started reviewing footage, like camera footage, so I was able to see the burn marks in the yard. But like honestly, I'm not like that. I wouldn't have thought that someone would ever follow through with that thought process and then throw them out on a yard.
You got to think about that. That's someone like sick. It is a very sick-minded person.
It's sick.
And we talked about this with Aiden in the turtle incident at his house, right? Yeah. So this is the thing, the way you have to look at it. Right. I want people to think about this process. So the criminal or criminals that did this is how the criminal mind thinks. Okay. So they think of a scenario. What is something that I can do to terrorize this person? Okay, so I'm just going to take both instances, the turtle at Aiden's house, and then this kind of we'll say chemical bombing. Right?
My entire yard is down to dirt now.
Unbelievable. Like, so you got to think about this. They think of the scenario. What can we do? Okay, criminal act. Like, let's get the chemical, but we can't get it we have to find something that won't be so detectable that it's so obvious that if they investigate, they find this. So they go out of their way and find this chemical. Now, how are we going to get it on their lawn? We can't just drive by and splash it. No, because then
they'll get on
us, on the car, whatever it is, right?
It's not good.
Can't walk by and just do it because someone will see us.
Yeah.
So let's get some balloons. Let's make balloons. This is the process of these people.
And like children pick balloons up and put them in their mouths, like.
Right. And then, okay, well, like you were saying, I don't want to carry this chemical in my car on these balloons because if it melts through or it goes, I got to double bag it.
Yeah.
Here we are. We drive by.
I don't want to ruin my car.
Right. We drive by. We throw the balloons, XYZ. Now you've bombed. And that's the same thing. Like I was saying when I was talking about the whole turtle incident with Aiden, which is fucking horrific and it's terroristic.
It's disgusting.
So this sick individual, maniac, literally said, okay, let's go get a turtle somewhere. So they had to go hunt and find a turtle, an animal, a defenseless animal.
Yeah.
Take that animal, put it into their car and drive with it, and then find a way to sneak onto the property and then literally, and I'm not going to say because you all know what, unalive the turtle at at Aiden's house, and then you knew what happened with it. Yeah. That's a maniac. It is. And if you're hurting animals, that means you're hurting people too. Because usually people,
you're capable. You have figured out how to disassociate from that feeling like indicator that says this is too twisted to keep going.
100%.
Yeah. We all know. Yeah. They figured out how to bypass that
sick
warning.
Individual.
Yeah.
Cece, $2 says, Jen, I just want to thank you for all you do, Cassie.
Oh, thank you. Hi, Cassie. Thank you.
So
for all you do too.
Tell us more about the harassment terrorism.
I know, right?
I don't mean to laugh. It's nuts. And this is what I say is I say, this is not only happening in Canton, Massachusetts. This is happening in your town and your city too. And that's why I always say you all need to pay attention to your local politics. If you're not getting the change that you want in your town or city, or an incident like this has happened where we had a dead police officer that was dumped on someone's lawn, and then everybody goes in their house and they don't know anything. You have every single right to go to your town hall, just like this during your select board meetings, and speak out and say, hey, we want transparency. We want an investigation. Yeah. And if you're not getting that, you have every single right to go stand out in a corner with a sign and make it public that you are pissed and that people need to stand up behind you and get something done.
And you shouldn't be afraid to do this.
No.
That's the gross
That's why
part.
we say, like, when all these trolls and stuff come out, I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. Yeah. Like, you can threaten me all you want. I'm not going anywhere. Yeah. I'm not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go anywhere.
So then come up on April was the election. So we're standing outside of the elementary school across from the senior center, and Tom Theodore, the old chair for the select board, his sister-in-law comes up and physically assaults me.
Nice.
Grabs my sign and no, I didn't file charges. And the answer is still no. I'm not going to file charges because, you guys, she's an old lady and I don't want that sitting on my head. If you want to go get roughed up by an old lady and file charges, you walk around with that for the rest of your life. I'm not pressing charges on old people. But anyways, she physically assaulted me by definition. She did. And nothing was ever done of it. When I made a comment to her, that's assault, she said, go ahead, call the police. I'm related to them all anyways. Yep. This is what townies. And she is, her nephew is Tom Theodore's son, is a cop on the department. And you know what? I'm seriously the only person, I think maybe two other people for a year straight that went to the school committee meetings. Me, the school committee. And maybe one or two people here and there that were speaking, but truly only one or two other parents ever.
And keep in mind, this is the harassment that Jen has been getting because she literally just goes to town meetings that you have every right to be there and be at. And during the public speaking portion, she just stands up and lets the world know how she feels about what's going on in her town. This is literally what she gets. Or she's seen, standing out, and this is the harassment you get.
I never threatened them. I made statements that they didn't like. which, by the way, our right during public comments is to make a statement. They cannot tell you what to say. They cannot tell you how to say it. They cannot tell you to stop speaking unless you are over your minutes or unless you are addressing them inappropriately. But if you are quoting or you are just using bad language because you are fucking pissed off, they have to take it. They have to listen to it.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Because they're public officials.
Yeah.
They have to listen.
They have to listen to it. They don't get to tell you how to say it or what to say.
Yep.
So I was quoting words that were being used towards my children. In the chair, Kendall O'Hare is literally climbing across the table. Mrs. O'Donnell, stop it! You can't do this. She's literally losing her shit. This woman is losing her shit. But I have been preaching to her or lecturing for a year, and she knew every word that I was saying because she had already heard it time over and time over. And she never seemed that upset when it came to my children hearing that language. But my God, was it unholy of me to be saying it to her that day in that meeting. But I edited my speech in order to continue speaking, which was a violation of my rights, by the way. And that's why I'm putting it all together here today.
This is probably about the most I've heard Jen talk. I'll be honest with you, because I always see her out. She's so very quiet. She's always just like, hi, how are you? How's everything going? And I'm like, she's here today and just, bull. And that's why I call her the bull. She's the bull in the meetings. I call her Jen the bull. Let me just get to this really quick. Joseph, thank you so much for the membership, gift membership. And I saw the one before. I want to thank you for that as well. John J says Jen O'Donnell is the best. DW says, I hate to say it and it will cost money, but it might make sense to show up at a meeting along with an attorney.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something in the process.
Money,
they cost money.
So, yeah.
Let me see. There was another one here.
I'm hoping an attorney hears all this and is like, holy crap. And everything I'm saying is on video.
Yeah.
That's the best part. That's why I'm like, go ahead, act a fool. I'm not even fazed by it anymore. I feel really bad for other people, but I myself am not that much fazed by it.
Yeah.
Like you said, I don't really care what the trolls say. What I do care, though, is it plants this tiny little seed. And on those days that just suck and you're just feeling low, that seed festers a little. And like eventually it catches up to you, and like too much negativity just eventually it wears on you. So like for that sucks. But like overall, I don't actually care what they say.
Yeah, there was an incident yesterday, and I'll read this really quick. And I just want to say this. Kate says, when I lived in Canton, it was well known that the cops were corrupt. I know a few of them, but I haven't lived there in a decade. So she says, you go, girl. Yeah, like it was funny. You were talking about incidents that get to you. And listen, I don't want to give it any credit, but there was someone yesterday that made a comment on Twitter, and it was talking about Enrique Delgado Garcia's funeral. And they said, Enrique Delgado Garcia's funeral is now. I have not seen the Glare, Let's Talk Live, Aiden, and the Young Jerks. If they can show up outside witnesses' houses, courthouses, and the Capitol Grill for a grifter's dinner, why not a funeral? Aren't you fighting for Enrique's rights? Or is he not white enough? And I went, wait a minute.
Go fuck yourself.
I went, it's exactly what I said. I literally tweeted under it, and I don't usually and I put this on Facebook, and I said, I usually don't give these people any satisfaction.
No.
But I was like, I literally responded and said, you're not only stupid, but you're pretty fucking ignorant.
Yeah.
Race is never a factor when standing up and seeking justice.
Yeah.
And second of all, listen, I don't know the Garcias. I don't know the Garcias. And two, I'm not going to show up and protest outside a funeral.
You don't protest a funeral, first of all. You stand in solidarity. Right. So if you were to show up, you show up and you shut your mouth and you don't have signs, and you better be respectful.
Right. And that was the family's moment to grieve and give them their space to do that.
Exactly.
So fuck you, okay?
Their last moments with their physical body of their child who was stolen from them by the Mass State Police. Like, why don't we give them a moment to have their peace?
Yeah.
And then when they're ready, they can come to us and we will fall in.
Absolutely.
So don't you worry.
That is their day with their family and their time with their friends, family, neighbors, whoever wanted to go out and pay the respect. And that, they deserve that. And, you know, you don't go there and fucking show up and protest. Give me a break. So I digress.
I agree. Don't piss him off. Seeing all different sides of people tonight. It's all coming to the surface. All right. So then we roll up on, then beautiful. So Tom Theodore's son starts showing up at the school committee meetings. There was never a threat at any of the school committee meetings. The only consistent at the school committee meetings was me. So like now apparently I'm public threat number 1 in the town of Canton, because wherever I go, there's a cop detail, and now they're sending in undercovers, because if they don't tip me off, I'll be more apt to break the law during the school committee meeting. Like, wise up. You all give me way too much credit. Like, I wish I was this powerful.
I've never seen Jen this animated before in front of me. I'm telling you, because she's always like, hi, how are you? Hey, how's it going? She's fired up. She got the fire going.
I did.
She has notes too.
Listening to good music today. I do. We don't like, it looks like a lot more, but it's not too much more. But I mean, it's a lot. This has been going on for a year. So that was fun times over at Tom Theodore Land. Now we're rolling in on, beautiful Officer Brendan Healy and the cell phone debacle, cell phone gate 2024. His word against mine. Luckily, the judge liked me a little bit more than they liked him that day. Sorry, honey. But we are going to put that in the past and let bygones be bygones, because I think you got a promotion, buddy, for that. So your feelings got hurt and Rafferty took care of you. So you're welcome. You are welcome, darling. I should be invited to the party. Then where are we? Then we move into, so getting the ticket wasn't good enough. We needed to rough it up a little, and we have beautiful old man Robert Wallen, who decided that when I went 15 minutes over my public speaking, he was going to start over as fast as he could, but I was done speaking by the time he got there, so it wasn't very fast. And when he got there, I was done, so he couldn't do shit about it. So I backed up and said, I'm done speaking. It's all good. He stood, no joke, 2 inches in front of me. Like, I kept trying to move around him and like stand in a different spot, and he would move his body. Like, he was guarding
That
me.
was the one you had clips of, right?
Yeah.
I remember this.
He was guarding me.
Yeah.
So I kept saying, like, when the altercation on the other side of the room happened, I like touched his shoulder and said, excuse me, I just have a question. Is that like an altercation? Like, isn't like your job, like how you had to run over here? Shouldn't you go over and uphold the law over there? Like, and that's when he grabbed me by the shoulder and said, you're going to be quiet. I'm going to take you out of here. Not you're under arrest. Not you're going to be filed with, what is it? What can they even get me on? Trespassing if they ask me to leave, but I don't even think they can't ask me to leave a public meeting. Like, I think they can adjourn the meeting. They could also.
Let's play it.
Canton needs to brush up on Robert's rules, because it is a national embarrassment.
What's
to calm the crowd down? You don't allow this asshole to do this.
I was speaking out of turn. She just sat there screaming at the crowd, and the crowd screaming back at her, and you stayed here.
2 inches from me.
It is inappropriate. No, it's inappropriate.
And when I said uphold the law to him,
the way it's intended to be upheld.
She stopped. You'll continue.
Good. I'm upset because I feel I'm justly. No, you're standing in front of me while everyone else does the same thing. Do you not see that?
Shut up, Mike. Mike, by the way, you knew that was me outside. You could hear my loud ass voice before you said, ooh, Jen's on the Zoom.
Fucking Americans, people. Remember it.
When there was this one.
Yes.
That's when he put his hand on.
So, yep. There's no.
They were yelling at, take
Right
your
there.
hands
Yep.
off.
I'm gonna take you out of the
I
room.
haven't
I'm going to
broken
take you
any
right out of the
laws.
room.
Listen,
I haven't broken
Jen,
any
you
laws.
quiet.
Jen. No, you're picking it.
That's not like, sorry guys, there's training. I don't
funny
care if you
because-
agree or not.
When he first comes over and puts his hand on, he almost like he's like, oh shit, the camera's there.
Oh,
Yeah.
you can see him
Yeah.
realize that it's being filmed. He doesn't let go though, because he's already committed to it. So he's got to leave his hand on there. But I'm telling you, like, he had a grip on me. You
Yeah.
can hear it in my voice. You think that voice is like that because he was just sitting there giving me a massage? Like, he had a grip on me, and there was no warning for that grip.
Right.
He went straight in, and it 0 to 60. There is so much protocol that was ignored. It's a joke.
Mhm.
It's an absolute joke. He went 0 to 60. There was no, you're going to be asked to leave the room. There was no, you're going to be put under arrest. You're going to be charged with trespassing. These are your options. This person, no, there was
Or
none.
if I have to remove
nothing-
you or whatever.
no.
Yeah, there's nothing.
They should have
Right.
adjourned the room before he even came over. You don't ask a citizen to leave. They have protocol. The cops have protocol.
Right.
Everyone ignored protocol, and he put hands on me. And that's after a cop pulled me over unjustly. So you know what? Like, and that's also with people bombing my yard. And that's with people making gun gestures at me who have a history with me and getting away with it because the cops are protecting them. But you know what? Like, I don't care. I'm going to keep speaking because guess what? That asshole moved out of Canton. So everyone who's saying, oh, she lectures and she won't shut up and oh, she just keeps talking about it. You're welcome.
Mm.
Your daughter's safe now. You're welcome. You're welcome. No, really. Add me to the Christmas card list. Dead serious.
Let me just get to this really
My
quick.
mailbox better be
She's
full
fired
this
up
year.
tonight. Liz 888 says, "Love and respect you, Jen, Rita, and the Sweeneys, and all the brief citizens. Love from Norfolk County citizen." So,
Thank you.
yeah, yep. And so that happened.
Yep. So I'm effective. Like when the board was voting on shit they shouldn't be voting on, who informed them that that is, unethical, that they're supposed to abstain, that they're supposed to leave the room, not vote on it? Oh, yeah, thanks. You're welcome. They changed their behavior, didn't they? You're welcome. Where else are we? Bob McCarthy. Yeah. He had no problem stripping women of, of voice. He was perfectly content being a asshole and sexual discrimination, left, right, center, like punting it to the board with him and a disgrace and an embarrassment. But, he suddenly changed his behavior and his tone of voice and started conducting the meeting accordingly when I pointed out that there was a news camera in the room. You're welcome.
Yeah, Becca, 3-2, 3-2, 3-2. Becca with 3-2.
Oh my God! I'm like, how is he doing this?
I play a clip from 8 months ago. One of the most inspiring things that you said at one of the Canton Select Boards. I want to play that so everybody can see it. You just gave me the eyes, like,
oh, I don't know what it is.
It's one of the most inspiring things that I've seen you say at the Canton Select Board, and I want to play this. So if anybody hasn't seen this,
effective communication would be a key component to any leadership. Examples of what not to do would be calling anyone a fucking random citizen, publicly saying that's not true during a meeting, implying people are lying.
This is great.
When the facts are what they had presented. I'm here too. Cutting off public comments. We hope they are able to exhibit accountability, responsibility, to hold themselves and others accountable and take action for their mistakes. We need leaders with long-term thinking to be visionary, to understand the need for continued change, and to be open to trying new approaches to solve problems and improve the process. A reply such as always been this way.
Everything's creaking in here right now, right? It's the ghost. I'm telling you, this is weird, man.
Leaders exercise good control and regulation over their own behavior and are able to tolerate frustration and stress. Leaders should be able to cope with changes in the environment without having intense emotional reaction. This one seems a little on the self-explanatory side.
Yep.
From where I'm sitting, the wrong individuals are sitting in the right seats. Leadership is coming from, as John Connolly referred to as, the fucking random citizens. We haven't made this personal. You have. You owe our community an apology for making this so hard, for taking up our time, for not taking us serious, for getting mad when we simply asked questions. An apology for willfully putting us in harm's way in hopes to lower the numbers willing to stand and speak the truth. I am sure our strength and ability to unite has surprised you all. It does for me every single week. We are not your enemy. We are your citizens. You owe me an apology for not knowing the bylaws. Yeah. For enforcing ones that are not there. For not knowing or using the ones that would have given you the right to overrule the bylaw that put your citizens in danger. You owe me an apology for not listening to my fear and my concern that I was sharing in the last meeting, for not valuing the safety of me or the safety of my family or the safety of anyone in this room. We do not have to give our addresses. It is not in the bylaws.
It's not.
Where does that come from?
I don't know. I discovered something in myself in the past year that I love to research things, and I just sit with my thoughts when they do stuff that upsets me. And I honestly, like, when I do speak to them, I'm speaking to them like I'm trying to like help them. I'm trying to guide them. Like, I know everyone thinks I'm trying to undress them. That's because they see them acting like a fool. But I'm trying to like show them like this is what you're supposed to be striving for. Like, all of that stuff for leadership was to show them this is what you should be striving for. This should be moving you as well. Like, I'm not your enemy. I'm trying to inspire you to be better, to want better for yourself and for us. And then the examples are like, yeah, they're meant to sting. They're meant, yeah, they are. Like,
get attention.
Yeah, because if you don't tell people what they're
bring
doing,
attention to it. So
yeah.
I'll bring that back.
But if you
Bring
don't
attention to
tell
it.
people what they're doing is wrong and you don't give them examples, they can't change their behavior.
Mhm.
No one can read minds. So if I just get up there and I go, you're pissing me off and I don't like it and you have to change, or I'm just going to continue being mad at you. And that's all. I mean, you have to respect me and you need to change that behavior right this minute. What behavior? You're not telling them anything. You're just telling them to change. And it's incredibly frustrating. So if you tell them, when you do this, it makes me feel this way. When you do this, you undercut our community. When you do this, you put our community in danger. When you do this, you're an asshole. Action, consequence.
Mhm.
It's very simple. So like, I'm not trying to be mean to them. I'm showing them passionately how to be better.
Has that something always been inside you? Like, have you ever written like that before or spoken like that before? Or is this just starting to come out?
I speak to myself all the time and I have very inspirational conversations.
Don't we all?
That car ride can get feisty,
Yep.
let me tell you.
Motherfucker.
All angles of the argument, let me tell you. I'm very fair to argue with.
But I'm serious though. Is that something that has always been inside you, or is this last year it really brought it
I think
out?
clearly I've always been a fighter.
Mhm.
It's in me, and it's getting stronger, especially now with the tensions in the town. But my voice, this version that you're seeing of me, like, this is me. That's why when they're all so angry at me, I don't get it, because this is me.
Yeah.
If they took a chance and like just sat with me for a minute and chatted, like, we probably could solve the problems. A little bit of humor
Easily.
and like work through it. Like, I'm very willing to work through things. So, and I'm willing to put the time in as long as I know the other side is willing to receive
Right.
it, you know?
Be receptacle.
Yeah. And collaborate.
Right.
But they're not. So here we are. And they do take a lot of the things that I say very personal.
Lauren's in the room for you. She says,
hi, Lauren. So yeah, so and speaking of that, not every time, and I would try not to go over my time limit, both at the school committee and at the select board, because no one wants to not be able to get, like, when you have spent time and really, like, I put a lot of energy into what I have said over the past year. Like, truly, I've dedicated.
I know about that.
Yeah, like
I know about putting energy in.
Yeah, you know, like there's a whole mood that I put myself in.
Yeah.
I put music on. I have to be in the headspace for it. I really I research history. Like I research psychology. I research different meanings of different words and like really deep dive into the actual definition of words to really understand what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I mean, maybe it doesn't always feel that way to other people, but it like, I'm telling you, I dedicated myself.
It's funny that you said that because you know, I just did a video the other day and I dropped it on the 26th because it had been a year since I started talking about the Karen Reed case. And I was saying, you know, like I've lost friends.
Yeah.
I've lost relationships, but I've gained a lot of friends and I've gained a lot of relationships. And I know that the friends and the relationships that I'm making now through all of this, that's going to stay forever because we're bonded by this one thing. And unfortunately, it is a tragic situation that we're dealing with. But it's also, we're trying to get good out of this too. And the main goal is justice for John and to free Karen and then solve,
change some of this corruption.
Right. And solve all these other problems too. Sandra Birchmore, Justin Root, you know, that's why we're here. And if, you know, literally I've learned so much about myself over the last year. Just things that I never thought that I would ever go through.
Yeah.
You know, I've been through the cycle of emotions. Like I've literally been through the cycle of emotions. I've been honest with everybody. I'm in therapy now. I go therapy once a week. And
therapy rocks.
Therapy's good.
Dude,
I tell
you
you to get therapy.
it.
It's not an embarrassing thing.
It is
I admit
not.
It
is
helps
better than arguing all sides in the car.
And I can tell you this, I've been doing it about almost 2 months. I'm so like just zen,
feeling
chilled
free.
out now.
Feeling free.
Like someone said to me, you need to go to therapy. And literally the next day I found someone and I connected with them right away. It was like really
You
good.
need to give me $1 million.
Okay. But my overall point is, you know, not only do I watch the people in the standouts and they come up to me and they talk to me all the time and they're like, you don't understand the emotions go through. I cry and I'm happy or I'm sad or whatever. And I'm like, we all go through it. You know, someone today at the standout was having a rough time. And I went up to them today and consoled them. And I said, and she was worried about the trolls. And I'm not going to talk just for privacy. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I just basically said, you know, look, those are people that are very unhappy with their life. And they're people that are just going to come at you because they're trying to dig and find something to come at you about because there's nothing wrong with you. Yeah. You know, what you're doing, standing up and standing out for Karen and for John is not bad. And I don't want you to ever think that that is bad. Nope. And you're raising your family right. And you're doing the right things because you know why? It's here. It's in your heart. Yeah. If your heart is telling you that it's good, listen to it and just do it. And fuck all these people because they're just trying to get a reaction out of you. Let me just recognize a couple of these super chats really quick. Elaine, thank you so much for a very big super chat. $50. Thank you. She says, I'm in tears in Oklahoma watching Jen's readiness in the Canton Select Board. Your community should be proud.
Oh, thank you.
I completely agree. And then Carol says the chairperson on the committee is supposed to be the impartial, not interrupt the speaker when they have the floor. They are only to vote if the vote of the members are deadlocked in a tie.
Yeah.
And I completely agree. And that power is always abused.
They don't know the rules, guys.
Right.
They don't know the bylaws. So every time they had us stand up and say our name and address, it was never in the bylaws. So when I stood up and I pleaded with them and said, look, things are getting real. Like there's a lot of internet trolls coming for us now. And you're telling us to repeatedly say our address. And now everyone knows, like, I have kids because I've been standing up at school committee. So like, this isn't safe. They still insisted. They said, address or sit down. It was never in the bylaws.
Well, it's because they want
it was to silence.
Right. It's to
like
silence.
They were actively trying to silence their citizens in lying about the bylaws. So they lie. They're not educated. They don't know their own bylaws. It wasn't in the bylaws. And even when I pointed it out, they changed their behavior, but they never even apologized it or acknowledged it. And they do that all the time.
Right.
Like Bob McCarthy the other day when he's like, well, I swear, like, do this and blah, blah, blah will happen. And I'm like, oh, like when you said you bet your procuring license on it, you don't even have one. It's not even active, dude. Like, so you're betting nothing. Like, okay, I bet my lip gloss on it. Like, it doesn't hold anything. It's words. Everyone in Canton that's of any power is just words. There's no action plan. And that's what the school committee hates because I go, thank you for your words. They suck. Where's the plan of action? Where's your plan of action? Thanks. You updated that document. That's so sweet. You added a comma. Go fuck yourself. Where's our action plan? Nothing. Select board, same thing.
Right.
They don't even do words. They literally do grunts.
Yeah. 3-2. Dennis Sweeney in the chat.
3-2.
How are you? He says,
Hi,
you're doing
Dennis.
great, kiddo.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Dennis
great.
is amazing.
Sweetheart guy.
Yeah.
Really kind.
And they, like, no joke, they're getting harassed as well.
Yeah.
And I won't speak on their behalf because that is up to them. Maybe they can call in. I don't know. But like Dennis had a similar situation, and I can say what he's put online. He had someone falsify a police report against his ass too this week. And it's all because we stood outside of D&E Pizza holding signs, and it pissed them off because guess what? We educate ourselves and we know what type of signs we're allowed to hold out in front of D&E Pizza, the store of our select board member.
Yeah, and it's unbelievable. You know, you look
Don't mess with an educated audience.
Yeah.
Like they treat us like we're idiots. And I'm like, each time we come back, we tell you how to do your job.
It's amazing because you actually do the research and bring it up.
Because I don't want to get handcuffs.
Right. Caveman says this woman is awesome. Thank you so much.
Caveman.
He says 3-2. Nope.
3-2. 3-2.
Dandy says great stream. Thank you so much. Yeah, and you know, it's even crazy when you look what just happened to the with the Canton 9. You literally, you're not even allowed to go out and stand with a sign on the opposite side of the road.
Nope.
Right. And just have a sign out there and protest. That's intimidation and
so I sat down with the chief when the Canton 9 got charged, and I said, I want to stand outside of D&E with political signs. I want to say Chris Albert's not my select board member. Isn't that so rude? Like, I don't know. I just know it really pissed people off when they were like, Trump's not my president. It really got people. So like, Chris Albert's not my select board member.
But I have a question. So what if I go out there and I stand? All right, wait. Let's just say I'm
do not wear
any. If I'm a Canton resident.
I'm not advising anyone to do anything. First off, I feel 100%. Confident for myself, being a Canton citizen, taking it upon myself to go stand in front of D&E Pizza because it's my right to do so.
Right.
Because it was lunchtime and it was perfect traffic time, and it's right in the hub of where all the restaurants are. So if you're trying to get attention, I used my brain, and my brain said that would be a logical, great spot to have a little protest. So that's what I did. I went to where the people were.
But I'm just curious, though, if you're a Canton resident, and again, I'm not
no Karen Reed gear,
right? I'm not
no Sandra Birchmore signs.
Interesting.
No,
but if I go out there with a sign,
serious.
But if I go out there with a sign that says "I hate pizza," will I get?
No, I think you can probably go out with the sign that says I hate pizza. But so this is also part of why I wanted to come on. So extremely funny, right? I will poke fun at our town all day long, but at the end of the day, some of the behavior that's been happening lately is hurting our message.
Okay.
And that's not fun. Like, you guys, I'm here sharing so that, one, I can provide safety for myself, because if these assholes think that they're going to keep coming for me, I'm going to keep going on shows, and we're going to keep having little chats and update the public what douches you can truly be.
You can come here anytime.
So thank you so much.
You
We'll
come
spill
scream.
the tea.
That's what I want. I want
the tea.
Yeah, I want
Canton
her to
style.
come in and scream all the time. This is good. This is good. It's like a therapy session,
It
right?
is.
It's a therapy
I'm working
session.
through my emotions.
Yeah, see?
Chris, you'll be marked safe for a week because I'm working through my emotions here and now instead of across the street from D&E Pizza. You're welcome. So I put a lot of time and effort into my speeches.
Right.
They repeatedly shut me down if I go like 1 second over. They're like, enough, sit, you're done, Mrs. O'Donnell. Like, it's so frustrating and just rude. And that's the board that's all they do. They just frustrate and they're rude to
3-2.
you. 3-2.
3-2.
Oh,
we got to
God.
get some shirts that say 3-2 on it.
Did you
That'd be
see
great.
the Sweeney's swag?
Say 3-2?
No, it says
Oh, yeah.
it's a joke.
Yes.
02021.
Yes.
Sweeney swag.
Yeah,
I love
I like it. I did. I saw that today.
We have Tom Theodore's toxic family coming for me. We have the police department coming for me. So there's an attorney that is investigating Officer Wallen putting hands on me, but I was advised by an attorney not to sit down with this attorney until I have an attorney myself. So I'm currently in limbo. So for people who want to know what I'm doing about each of these things, my issue is an attorney costs money. And I'm not here to ask for money. I'm just letting you know until either the FBI comes in and helps resolve my issue naturally, which would be lovely. Hint. Or we rattle off enough that there might be an attorney out there watching tonight who's like, we got a slam dunk on our hands. Like, that's truly, like, that would be brilliant. So, like, just perk up. Listen.
Bob's asking, can we hold signs that say, I love Jennifer O'Donnell?
He would hate you, but I mean, I don't see why
I like
you
the I
can't.
hate pizza sign. I think that would be great.
So
I
my
hate
signs said receivership. We had a sign that said the world is watching. What are you gonna do? We had my favorite. How much money will Chris Albert cost Canton? It's time to resign, Chris. XOXO. Fucking random citizen. So like we just stood out there. We had a dance party. We said hi to some other fellow citizens. They had John's badge number on their hats. I don't know if they liked us. They didn't feel friendly, but we kept it clean. We made sure to tell them that we hoped they had a wonderful day or to have the day that they deserve.
Jackie says we need Harvey Specter. Oh man, I don't know. That's not gonna get it done.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So then we did it really respectfully, but we got instant clap back for it. So Jeannie Higgins, who lives in Canton, Massachusetts, I had some online back and forth back in October of last year that like this woman holds a grudge. So watch yourselves, people. We had some fun going tit for tat on social media. She was being rather toxic and I was dipping my toe in the pond and, you know, splashing her a little bit. But then it got really like nasty and it felt really unsafe. So I personally blocked her. I blocked her husband. His mother came for me. Like Grandma Higgins came for me hardcore, people. Like, talk about trash. I'm so sorry, but your family. Thanksgiving must be interesting in that household. That's all I gotta say. I actually want an invite. Jeannie Higgins went down to the Canton Police Department and filed a harassment charge against me. I told her to have a nice day. I said it with a smile, like no joke. Every single interaction I had that day was gleeful happiness because it truly felt great to be out there and know that Chris Albert couldn't do jack squat about what I was doing. But what he did was he called all of his little buddies that rally and stand behind him for some ungodly reason. None of us can understand why, because it makes them look like Goonies. So, like, why do they do it? Why do they come rolling up like trash?
Yeah.
Seriously, like, you called your hooligans in. And so they roll up and they cause a scene. They try to entice you into like falling into like arguing with them, but I didn't. I said her name. I accidentally said her name was, what is it? It's Jeannie. I said it was Janine by accident because I had blocked her back in October. So I'm sorry, but I don't think about you that much. So I didn't memorize your name. So
yeah.
So clearly I'm not harassing you because you can't enter my world because we blocked each other, girl. So that's part of the grounds of harassment. Show proof of constant contact.
Yeah, you blocked her.
Yeah.
You're not even a thought in her. She's not even a thought in your head.
Yeah. The night the cop put hands on me, thanks, Jeannie, they were trash talking me in the room. And then Jeannie and her husband their mother, were walking the perimeter of the building to try to find me so that they could instigate with me. Like, really?
Right.
I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm sorry, but I have consistently shown you who I am. And I'm not going to fall for it. I'm smarter than you. And I'm classier than you. So I'm just not going to fall for that. So those are the two incidences we've had with each other. Some online tiff for tat that we ended, the select board meeting, and now on the sidewalk where this woman comes to me. I call her the wrong name, truly by accident, didn't think it would bring charges on me. And someone says, who is she? And she Mike Higgins' wife. And Mike, how's it feel? Are you a big man? Because I think you're a little man, and I think you're a loser. And I think you're going to find another hobby other than following me around on social media and making nasty little comments like why my parents abandoned me or my children should be taken by DCF or anything about anything. Crawl back into your hole. I blocked you there too. Dumbass. Like all they do, they give you examples of how I now, Janine, can go and get a restraining order if I want to. I can go to Stoughton District Court between my screenshots from social media, the video of you targeting me outside of the town hall, because we all had cell phones out, and now you falsifying a police report against me. I asked the cop while he was roaring laughing from your version to my version. So someone said, who is she? That's how lovely Mike came into the story. Mike Higgins' wife, right? I go, that's Mike Higgins' wife. Don't bring my marriage into this. No one brought your marriage. They asked who you are. We all know who Mikey is because he's toxic. It's a compliment. He's a bit of a celebrity in the Karen Reed world. It should be an honor. So I said who it is. She's like, don't talk about my marriage. I said, dude, it sounds like you have a solid marriage. Good on you. Have a good day. She took that as harassment. I do think they have a solid marriage. There's no way they're leaving each other because they are both cut from the same cloth. That mother was like, oh my God, you married my dream girl. Like she probably sleeps in bed with them. No joke. Like, they're good. So, like, their marriage is solid. It was not an insult, darling. And this right now, none of this is a threat either. I legally have action that I can go and get a restraining order on you because you don't think first. You jump when Chris Albert says, they're scaring me. They're holding signs that mock me. Get a grip.
By the way, the chat's loving you.
Oh, hi, guys.
Let me get to this. I was just gonna
Sorry.
hold back and let Jen go. $5 says FKR free kittens run. I love it. Yeah, everybody's loving you, Jen. They're just so Jen is awesome. Jen is awesome. That's what I said. I said I was gonna come in and let Jen just have the mic tonight. I mean, what isn't, you don't need to hear from me.
But meanwhile, he thought I was a mute. How is this gonna go?
Every single time I saw Jen out at a standout, I think we were all at like maybe the waterfall once after one of the stand, and she's like, "Hi, hey, how's it going? All right, hey." And then I saw her today, and she's like, "Oh, I went camping. I'll see you later on tonight." I'm like, "All right, cool."
I said I wouldn't come too close. I stink. Is actually what I said.
I wasn't gonna say.
Yeah,
that.
I was homeless chic.
All right.
This afternoon,
yep.
And it felt amazing. Like I love camping. It's
fun. It's free. You can just free your mind.
So this room, it's so cool and I love it. And you guys can't see all the like lights and stuff, but there's electricity everywhere. Like what is the show Breaking Bad? The guy that like had to line his windows because he was uber sensitive.
Yep.
I'm making myself sound crazy, but I'm not crazy. I'm sensitive to the electricity, like too much of it. Like I can feel the vibration. No, it's so like I can do it because we're here and we're doing this. But like if this was my like room or something, like I can't do this. Like I can feel the vibrations coming off of the machinery. Like so I go to the woods because it's silence. And like there's no like the vibrations aren't the same.
The best time that I like in here is when I'm literally by myself. All these overhead lights are off, and I just have the perimeter lights on, and I just sit here and like peace for us.
Yeah, I can do that.
Like it's awesome.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
But yeah, the woods are fun. So and it's fun because then you get the ride back, and I got all pumped up with music, and then I was like, I'll swing by the standout. Why not? And that was
everybody
super
showed up
fun.
today. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. $10 here. Just want to recognize DW. Thank you so much. This is tremendous. Take no prisoners, Jen. They love you.
Thank you so much.
They love you. And
they brought it on themselves.
I honestly did not know that this person was inside this person. I didn't know, but she's like, I'm bringing it. She messaged me and she's like, Brian, I need to come on the show and I have a lot to say. And I'm like, whenever you want to. She's like, and I'm coming in person. I'm like, all right, great, bring it. And she came in and she goes, I have notes. And I went, oh shit, I know how this is gonna go down.
So yeah, that's so Kendall. Oh, so yeah, Jeannie Higgins. The filing this
excuse me,
fake police report. Like, absorb that in for a minute. This delightful human being has the air about her to think that she can walk on into the police department, lie her ass off, get away with it, get a charge on me, and go high five our select board member, Chris Albert, because she was in his pizza shop right before she went down to the police station. So who's giving out orders and who's taking orders here? So like, you guys do it to yourselves. You do stuff right there in front of us. And I've already told you, I pick up on patterns. I pick up on human behavior. And I've been watching you idiots for a long time, especially the Higgins, because they can't help but be mean to people. So I just from afar watch them. You're going to sink yourselves. You're already doing it. It's all on camera. Like, I love cameras now.
Amanda, $2. Says, we love Jen. Great show.
Thank you. I'm fun. Sometimes.
Sometimes.
I can't. They only give me 3 minutes at the select board. It's hard to get. It's hard to get
come here and let
there.
it all out. Right. You just come here and do it. Just let it all out.
I can't go make friends with them. I have to like get right to the point.
Katie says, awesome show tonight. Very positive and funny.
Oh, thank you.
And then where's Chloe says, Jen, you rock. Everybody says you're feisty.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then, so yeah, like those are the big ones that have happened. Oh, and then so those are the big ones that have happened. That's the reason that I came in tonight, is because this woman seems to think that she can do that. Like she can weaponize the police against me and just go about her day and think that that's okay. And the same thing happened to the Sweeneys. A neighbor of theirs thought, know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go lie my balls off and get a charge put on Dennis Sweeney. That seems like a good thing to do today.
Right.
I'm going to fill these balloons with toxic stuff that's going to kill their yard. That seems like a good action plan for today.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm going to get out of my car. Like this woman who had attacked me in the gas station in Sharon, she wasn't even getting gas originally. She was driving through, saw me, pulled in, drove through a little bit, then pulled up to a gas pump and started spewing shit at me. Like they go out of their way to be mean. It's gross. It's toxic. I feel bad for them, but it keeps going. Like, I mean, there's we believe to be one of the major key players, like a head investigator's wife, potentially, used her alias Facebook account to go under my work account and plaster horrible, nasty comments about how I shouldn't be allowed near children. And like, this is my real estate page, like my business page. And she went in and just made all these horrible things. There were curse words in there, like just complete unprofessionalism. And it's disgusting, and just continuously did it like once a month. Like it was like she set a friggin' reminder because it's a game to her. Like, get a life. Go take care of your hot mess of a life. Like, it is burning down. Go get some water. Leave me alone and go get water for your life. Cut it out. And then we have, the nonstop failure to adhere to Robert's rules. Oh, Colin and Chris Albert seem to think it's fun to just spout off at the cuff at me while I'm like driving in traffic down Washington Street.
Are they outside Deanie?
Yeah. I got stuck. I mean, I swear that child, and he's not even a child, that I don't want to call him a man because in my mind, he's not a man because he's just a punk and a psychopath. But that child, Colin, has like a magnet. Like he knows when I'm driving through the center of town, and I know when he's standing outside his friggin' Jeep. And when I drive through, our eyes lock every single time. And it's the airiest thing. And it's so gross. But like, I usually have fun stuff like Corrupt Proctor, Hoss Long to Die Include, Where's Chloe, Meatball Morrissey, Canton Corruption, Canton Cover Up, FKR, Framed. I think that might be it. Written on My Car. So he liked that one. When he read that, he started chuckling. So that was fun. So I think I think Colin secretly actually likes me and doesn't mind like our toe for toe.
Right,
I think he thinks it's fun. I think he thinks we're having fun at this point. But then one time I was stuck in traffic right outside D&E, and no joke, it was like a stream of profanity coming at me. And I couldn't go anywhere. I'm stuck in traffic and I'm just sitting there like, okay. Like,
it's funny how they can say things to you, but if you were to stand out there with a sign, that would be considered harassment and you would be charged for that.
I have to be careful what I'm
works?
wearing, what's on my sign.
See how that
like
works?
We couldn't even have rubber duckies on it. Like rubber duckies make our select board member so physically scared that the Mass State Police have picked up. More than picked up. Like it's a full-blown duck gate.
Duck gate.
Duck gate 2024.
Like that duck over there.
I know. I want
My
to
hand
like
puppet duck.
it should the duck and I should be
I'm gonna get
having
the hand
no
puppet duck.
geez no
I'm gonna get it.
things tune out now guys, things are about to go downhill. It's getting weird. It's getting weird.
This is what they're afraid
This is
of.
what Chris Albert is afraid of.
And that
Prissy
right there.
Prissy.
This little,
Yeah.
we'll put it right there.
So we have Sir Quacks-a-Lot joining us for the commentary now.
Clyde Ducksworth.
Right? When are you going to come off Zoom, guys? This is horrible. You're getting trolled by the YouTubers.
Yeah. Clyde Ducksworth.
Mike, your plan has backfired. Abort. Go back live. You're safe.
Just let people go in and speak their minds.
Oh my God. It's getting bad, dude.
You guys
It's
kind of a
so
grumpy
bad.
face, doesn't it? Well, I mean, I guess the ducks are kind of grumpy in
Like-
Canton, right?
I don't like that.
This one's angry.
Oh yes, the finger. All right. Who else did I? So we had Colin and Chris. Yep. Oh, Chris spouting off at me. So Chris also spouted off at me outside of the courthouse. And that was during the election time. So that was equally as inappropriate. But again, like all of this stuff, the only things I've ever brought to anyone's attention was the bombing of my yard and the gun gesture. But this is all stuff that's like, it's constant. They never leave me alone. And
Can't even drive through your
over
own
it.
town.
no,
You get
without the
harassed.
select board son spouting off vulgarity on like a Sunday morning, people.
On the Lord's Day.
Yeah, go to
Right.
church, Colin.
Go to church.
Go to church.
Right.
I said a prayer for you. They're not working. You're gonna have to partake in this.
Hmm.
You're gonna have to say your own prayers.
Sebastian, $10. Thank you so much. Says thoughts on the Canton PD being called out for a quote building check at the same car dealership 30 plus in August. I
The
don't live
one-
in Canton, so I
The
can't
car
help you.
dealership that had been robbed of cash where they knew exactly where to look for it. That car dealership.
Hmm. Interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But so now you got to worry about the businesses that are in town because did they get that business because they have connections to the wrong people in town? Like, how deep does our shitty corruption go in the town of Canton, which is really unsettling. It's unsettling.
Mhm.
Like receivership, as much as townies don't want to agree, but receivership truly is the only way that Canton's going to move forward and ever heal. And healing is purely an individual commitment. Like if no one wants to heal, we're never going to heal. But if everyone just individually starts healing, then we're going to be fine. Like we're going to be fine. America's built on corruption. America was stolen, for crying out loud. Like
It's interesting though to see, how the other side, when you see some of the people that come in and when they were doing it, like especially back like 8 months ago when we watched your video, it was interesting when you had kind of both sides divided and they were allowed to kind of be in the same room and talk openly. And
they're still allowed.
Yeah,
they are still allowed.
yeah.
They just don't come.
It's just interesting though how they sit there and they're like, oh, we think this is a clown show and this is crazy that these people are getting up here and they're talking like this and it's making it's making a bad gesture towards Canton. I'm like, you're just seeking the truth.
Yeah,
That's it.
we're not
I mean-
making a mockery of Canton.
Right.
We're trying to point things out so that the masses will start standing up. I'm mentioning all of this to bring safety for myself because I've just been taking it for a year. And when someone so carelessly feels that they can walk into a police station and just weaponize it against me after I've had a cop put hands on me and I've had a cop pull me over when I wasn't breaking the law, like some other day, maybe I was, but not that day. Like that sucks for you, dude. That one time I was okay. But like, it's scary. Like that's escalation. That's scary. And I personally don't want to be alone at Canton PD with any of them.
Right.
Honestly, even the ones I do know at this point, because I've also learned some of the people you think are good guys in Canton are just really good at pretending to be good guys. And they're the skeeziest of all of them. So there's that.
So Beach Life says, got to have Jen back. She's great on here. Yeah, absolutely. I told her she
Thanks,
can come in
Beach
anytime.
Life.
And Liz 808888 says, you're trying to save Canton. Of course.
I'm trying to help. Like,
passionate citizens that are concerned about their town. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with speaking up. And I think that's the problem with today. When you speak up, that's when they don't like you. If you don't just fall in line and conform, that's when you have problems.
Yep.
Jeffrey Martin, $5 says, Jen Unfiltered, the select board would be epic for 20 minutes. Great show tonight, Brian. Thank you. I'm glad that you could be here. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, so the rest of them are just like, honestly, they're just examples of the toxic stuff that was
notes,
on.
don't you?
Yeah. Oh, so one of the things, Noah, so whatever, the friggin' trolls and the BS that they put on there.
Right.
Like I said, I really don't take much notice. I turn Twitter off when it starts becoming too much. When I see it, I mean, I go looking for it. I want to see what they're saying about me. So if I'm looking for it, it's hard to fully hold myself like, your feelings got hurt, but you were kind of hoping you were going to find something that hurt your feelings, right?
Right.
So I try not to go there too often because I know that I will find exactly what I am looking for. So in bulk, like it's like going to Costco, for crying out loud. It's a deal. It's a deal. If you guys need to feel bad, I can send you some. They're good. They get like right in there, right under the skin. So yeah, all of that. And like, it's just examples of their unprofessionalism throughout the meetings, but I won't deep dive into that. One last thing I did want to mention is Rita and I had filed a police report against PM3. And for all of you who knew Cliff Notes, it's Paul McAuliffe the third. But when he wants to be relatable, he drops the third because he's cute. But yeah, he wrote a really disturbing post on his Canton First website, which is supposed to be only Canton people. But all it is a playground to trash talk anyone that doesn't agree with them, primarily the people who stand up at the select boards and try to change things. Anything goes there. It's incredibly vile and toxic. Obviously, people send us stuff. But after the first attempt on Trump, he wrote a comparison where it felt incredibly dangerous. He basically informed us by example and by name in a very public post that we have the ability to stop this. It's up to us. Why don't we? Because you don't scare me. You're nothing. And I will come on top from this. And I want to make sure he knows that. And of course, somebody advised him how close he could get before it could be considered an actual threat, which should also send volumes to people. He was basically making connecting us to an assassination and telling us we have the power to stop it. So I read into words. You don't put something like that in your opener and then pull comparisons between our activity in Canton and the former president's activity, and then tell at the ender, say, only you can stop. It's not a only you can prevent forest fires post, buddy. Like, you're not in the good interest of the people. You're literally saying you can stop this game. You already sent your little coony bitch after me. Then you yourself came for me. Then we got Grossman standing up and addressing me. Then we got the whole select board. We got the cops. Like, what? We got Chris. We've got Colin. What, guys? I'm 5'4", 115 pounds. If this is scary, you need to go to the gym.
It's not.
You
that.
need to
You know
get counseling.
It's this.
They got to figure it
That's
out.
what's scaring them. What's in there?
Yeah. it's crazy in there. You can come join me. Come on in. Like, I swear. Like, don't be scared of me. Just maybe like start listening.
Kelly's asking $2. Thank you so much, Kelly. She says, how can we help?
I don't know. Like, for citizens that are in Canton, start speaking up. I went to that standout today, and I had a fellow citizen approach me, and she was in tears. And I won't tell her story because I will let her do that. But she's getting retaliated against. And her question to me is, how do you handle it? How do you handle them coming for you? And my first response was, and it's the truth, I disassociate from it.
Yeah, don't stop. Just keep doing what you're doing and don't
cut it out.
Listen.
And I bury it. And when I need to, which is why I don't typically like to do this like live stuff. I always tell people like, I'm worried about my mouth. When I get worked up, I swear a lot, and it's not to be disrespectful. It's true. Like some people punch things to get emotions out. I think like the word fuck can really get some good emotion going. Like, it's such a good one.
This is a good one.
So like that, I get worried about that. And I get worried that people are going to think I'm angry because I get really loud, and I'm not angry. I'm just passionate and animated, and contrary to what you think.
Yeah, I know.
When you see me out in the wild. That's why I'm always dancing. The crowds make me nervous. I get some social awkwardness in big crowds.
Oh, I do too.
So that's why I'm always dancing off on the side. So
no, I do it too. I mean, if you notice, like I kind of pull back a little bit when I'm out there, and it's strange for me too.
Yeah.
When people are kind of pulling you in all different directions, but I don't mind it. I'm very, very approachable. I was telling
you are
very approachable. You can just come talk to me. Let's see, Liz, again, she's $2. Thank you so much. How can we help? I think we kind of answered that, but thank you, Liz, for the 2. Lindsay says, only one question. Whose car are we taking? Thank you. Caveman says the female version of Sean McDonough. That's great. I like that too.
Thank you.
But it's funny because I've never really, like I said, Jen has always been very reserved in front of me, and she's like, oh no, I'm bringing it tonight. I'm going to lay it out there and get it on the ground. And I think this has been, it's been good. And I think it's healthy to talk about this stuff instead of having it sit inside of you too, and having a platform to come here and do stuff like this. And, like I said, anytime you want to come in and let it all out, we're here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Does anybody, I'll do this really quick. If anybody wants, we'll take like 3 questions really quick. I'll pop a question in the chat. If it's Canton related, I'll bring it up. Maybe Jen can answer some of it. We'll wait a couple of seconds here before we end because we're coming up on about an hour and a half.
Beautiful. Wow, that went fast.
It goes fast, right? Yeah. When you just
I came in, I was like, I'm so
nervous. I'm like, and then before we went live, I'm like, you ready to do a show? She's like, okay. And I'm like, we'll just do a show. Don't worry. We'll just hang out.
He's like, I'm just going to give you the mic and you go. And I'm like, no direction, no nothing. Just go.
Yeah, of course. Let's see. Kevin, Caveman says, what do you think the audit will find? And I'll let Jen answer, and then I'll answer. Go ahead. What do you think the audit will find? I think hopefully the truth.
I mean, the way that they have it going right now, it's not going to find jack shit. But what do I hope it find? What do I think it? What do I hope? I hope nothing. I hope like everyone's on the up and up. But like the reality is they're not. And I'm really sorry that that's hard for people. And it sucks for people that are friends with them and grew up with them and are family members with them. Like, it really sucks. I'm so sorry. You got screwed. You got handed a wrong deck of cards. It blows. But it's a thing. And drugs is going to be a thing. I don't know where. I don't know who. I don't know what. Money. There's going to be guns missing, guaranteed. There's going to be rape kits missing. Some interesting cases that just seem to just have gone nowhere. The fact that parents have come to the police and asked for guidance on whether they should contact DCF and they are told we can't help you because your child's under the age of 12 should never be the response from your chief of police. So, you know, like stuff like that is going to be looked into. Yeah, I mean,
I think just everything
it's not
being
going to
on
be
the
clean.
up and up, right?
It's not going to be clean.
And I think
unfortunately,
that's why
it's really not. I mean, the Sandra Birchmore case alone, and we're not allowed to cherry pick it. But anyone who does police audits knows who Canton, Massachusetts is at this point, right? So they're going to be familiar with it to some capacity. So with that will come the major cases that have come out of us. They're going to have some familiar with it, and hopefully they will just choose to do that. But I mean, the FBI is coming in for that as well.
Judith, thank you for the $10 on Venmo. I appreciate that. All right, Jen. Well, this was a good hour and a half to come hang out. And I appreciate you coming in and kind of unloading and getting all this frustration off. And like I said, I mean, I always have a platform here. So anytime you want to come in and sit down and let everybody know. And I think this is educational, not only for the world to see, but I think for the people of Canton that are afraid to come out and speak.
Yeah.
I think they can relate to a lot of this.
Safety in numbers, honestly, guys. Like, and get dash cams, have Ring doorbells. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. Do you know how good it feels to send that video over to the chief of police? Like, here you go. Figure it out. Do something. At least I was able to give something. At least I couldn't just sit there and have assholes rev their engine in front of my house because I didn't write anything down because I was paralyzed with fear because they're just there blatantly in the middle of the day. So yeah, no, cameras. We're in the day and age of cameras, and it's protection at this point. My neighbor's getting a Ring doorbell for my safety. You know, like, talk to your neighbors, have conversations. If people are threatening you, talk.
Yeah.
Don't be quiet. Talk.
Speak up. Yep.
Get out there and talk. Call me, text me, email
Facebook,
me,
anything.
message me.
Right.
Go for it.
Right.
I'll go to the police station with
Come
you.
to a standout.
I'll help
Talk
you.
to Jen.
Yeah. Like, don't sit there quietly and take it because, one, they're going to keep doing it. Two, they're going to move on to another victim. So if you don't stand up, you're putting the next person in danger. So you have no choice. You have to stand up. I'm sorry. You got dealt a bad deck of cards as well. We all did. We live in Canton, Massachusetts, which is the new hot Compton.
It's crazy stuff. Dennis, thank you so much for the 10. I appreciate that. So like I said, anytime you want to come in and just let the audience know and the world know what's going on in Canton, you're invited in any single time. And I'd love to get you and Rita back on at the same time too, because that's
beautiful.
Great energy. You both have great energy. And we saw Rita today. I had her when I was out doing a live earlier at the standout. She was kind of giving updates on the Canton audit. So Tuesday is the day to keep your eyes out for the audit. And then there's a select board meeting that night as well too. So it's going to be a very interesting day in Canton. Mark your calendars on Tuesday. Is going to be a lot of action and just
maybe the audit was the bids in by then. Thank you. And then select board meeting. Oh, see you guys Tuesday night. Oh yeah, no. So my original plan for Tuesday night's right back on. All right. I thought they had moved.
No, bids are Tuesday
at
by
2 o'clock.
Right.
And then the select board meeting. Chris and I get to go on a date.
Oh, they're saying 4 p.m. select board. Well, check your local listings. You can go right to
if they seriously did 4 p.m., that's a joke.
Right. So we'll see what happens, but you can check. Oh, it's 4 p.m. A lot of people are saying 4 p.m.
Oh my God. Sarah, they're so like
shady
cowards. Are they going as the Wizard of Oz? Are they giving us little like drops? They're giving us hints, guys. They're going as the Wizard of Oz for Halloween.
Don't look at the man behind
We've got the cowardly lion,
right.
the tin can. He's got no brain. We got the man behind the curtain, John Cannelly. No heart. Yes.
Scarecrow had
no brain.
And the lion had no courage.
It's our select board.
It's the Canton select board.
It is the Canton select board, except for JR. I'm going to leave him alone. For whatever reason, he gives me the warm and fuzzies. I like you, dude.
All right. That is Jen O'Donnell. I call her the Bull. Thank you for coming in. And I said, anytime you want to come in and talk to the to the world here, you're welcome in. And I think this is a good relatable stream, like I said, of what's going on in the local area of town of Canton, Mass. So if you want to hear it, this is the real right here. So
thanks, guys.
All right, tomorrow night, I want to let everybody know, live in studio, Mark Mazzamedia will be here, and Nurse Kim for the first time in the studio. We're going to be here, and we're going to have an amazing live tomorrow. I think it's going to be a great collaboration. I'm looking forward to it. And so join us tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Awesome. I love all of you. Again, this is Jen O'Donnell, the Bull. And you'll see her at the select board meetings and hopefully back here in LTL Studios soon.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Have a good night. Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye.